You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks. So today's real crime story is about Shanann Watts from Frederick, Colorado. She was married and went through a bad divorce. It left her feeling very insecure about herself. But she turned her life around. She worked hard and built her first house at the age of 25. Years later, though, she was diagnosed with lupus. But then she met Chris. They eventually got married and had 2 children, Bella and Celeste. She was pregnant with their 3rd child. August 13th, 2018, Shanann and her 2 children go missing. A few days before they went missing, Shanann's friend Nicole picked her up around 4:30 p.m. to go on a business trip. On August 13th, 2018, and around 2 a.m., Shanann's friend Nicole dropped her off at home after they returned from the business trip. Nicole tells police that while they were on the business trip, Shanann was distraught and wasn't eating or acting like herself. Nicole tried to get a hold of Shanann later on that day, but she couldn't. She texted and called, but no response. So she goes to Shanann's house, and her car is in the driveway. So she calls the police.
My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning. And I've gone to her house, and her car's there, but she won't answer the door. She won't answer phone calls. She won't answer text messages. They have 2 little girls, 3 and 4. I mean, there's no movement in the house whatsoever. What's her name? Shanann Watts. Alrighty, we will have an officer come out that way as soon as we can. I would just advise you, to not try to make entry into the house or anything like that.
The police arrive, but they have no way of getting into the house because the police can't go inside the house without consent from the property owner. Eventually, Chris, Shanann's husband, shows up and gives the police consent to go in the house. They go in the house and there's no sign of Shanann and her 2 kids, Bella and Celeste, anywhere. Chris finds the kids' blankets and Shanann's phone and wedding ring. And her purse is still there with her medication in it. The neighbor has a camera that sees out in the street. So the police and Chris go over there to see the footage. The neighbor notices that Chris appears nervous. But I guess that's understandable if your pregnant wife and children suddenly go missing. August 14th, 2018. The police call Chris to get a description of the missing children. And the police talk to neighbors and hand out flyers. And search the house with the canine unit. They notice the house is very clean. They decide to bring Chris down to the station for questioning.
So I know it's hard to talk about. You mentioned that there was a hard conversation the 2 of you had about your marriage. Can you really get into that conversation? I talked to her about how I was feeling, about how I felt like what's been going on with us for the last 6 weeks, because she was in North Carolina, and I was down there just the last week. But just being apart and just figuring out who people are. It's the best, honestly, the best way for people to really find out who they are is to spend time apart. I agree. When we were together, we could feel like it wasn't there, that spark. And that's kind of cliche, but that spark wasn't there anymore. And that's why I got so emotional right there.
Okay. Emotional for you too?
Oh yeah, I was bawling my eyes out.
Looking back on that conversation, can you connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are, and now she and the kids are gone?
I think about did I cause this? Did I make her feel like she needs to leave? Maybe she sat there, thought about it, do I really need to stay here right now? If he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go.
7 weeks before Shanann went missing, Shanann, her her dad, and her 2 children went to North Carolina for 6 weeks. The police talked to Shanann's friend Nicole. She tells them that when Shanann goes to North Carolina, she gets in a fight with Chris's mom because she gave her daughter ice cream that she's allergic to. Chris's mom ends up kicking Shanann out of her house. Apparently, Chris's mom and sister do not like Shanann. Chris goes to meet them in North Carolina, and Shanann can tell something isn't right in their relationship. They were not communicating or having sex. Shanann was suspicious that he was getting it somewhere else. They call Chris's employer and speak to his supervisor. He tells police the day Shanann went missing, Chris was working at Survey Edge.
Hi, Luke. This is Agent Lee calling from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. So are you Chris's supervisor?
Yeah, I'm his direct supervisor, yeah.
Do you have any idea if, he has, a girlfriend, or if he thought his wife had a boyfriend or anything like that?
He never indicated or said anything to me that made me think that. He never came out and said one way for him or his wife.
Sure. Okay. Can you explain to me Monday morning, where would he go to his job site?
He was out on what's called the Survey Ranch.
Survey, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have several wells out there, and him and a few of my other guys were out there pretty much all day with him.
Do you have any concerns about him?
I don't, other than what he's going through right now.
The police interview Nicole Kessinger. Nicole Kessinger is the woman Chris was having an affair with.
There's a whole bunch of us working on this, and we will until we resolve it.
He has no idea what you guys. Nobody. I think he's a really good guy, and I'm worried about his wife.
And we appreciate the insight.
So I met Chris at work probably around the beginning of June, and he informed me that he did have 2 daughters. He also told me that he was currently in the process of a separation from his wife, and that's how it started.
Okay. And then did the relationship develop beyond friendship?
Yes.
Children, and he's got his own kids, and that makes you kind of uncomfortable because you'd like to have your own family. Put that in context, Sean. Is that a fair statement the way I'm saying it?
I guess. Those are anything I said to him.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Did you ever say anything to him about,
Never.
anything about his kids being a problem? Anything about his wife being a problem?
Never. This shocked me just as much as I think it shocked the rest of the world. All of it. He lied so much. Now I go back and think of all this shit, and I'm he lied. I really thought she left. I was like, let her fucking go. I'll come back in the day. She'll be alright. Let her pull up. She'll be here. It'll be okay. How do we convince? I think she's just upset. And then.
August 15th, 2018. The police give Chris a polygraph test, and he fails. So the police continue to question him.
So I got early here. If you want to question out the results, okay? So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing. I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test, right? Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise. Chris, I'm not stop. It's time. Stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. When people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this. And I appreciate that because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today, and you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could, at the end, say, you know what, I just need to get this off my chest. I just need to tell you what happened. we're not here to play games. We're not here to do any of that. We just want to know what happened. So can you start from the beginning and tell us what happened?
Everything that I've told you, I've not lied on this polygraph. I don't know how much I could tell you right now. Like, I did not.
It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph. So I know you were being accepted. So that's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. That's the issue right now. Okay. So let's talk about that.
He keeps telling the police the same story, that he had nothing to do with Shanann's and the kids' disappearance.
Like, don't let this continue any longer, please.
I'm not trying to make anything continue. Like, I want them back home, like.
But you know they're not coming back home. You know that.
I don't know in the back of my head. I hope they come back home.
But you know they're not.
I hope they come back home.
We just can't figure out why there's two Chris's. So we need to talk about that, okay? I cheated on her. I know.
That 5 weeks I was alone, I was with her most of the time. She's a wonderful person. I mean, she knew I was married, yes. And I told her we were going through issues, yes. And I told her that we were going to get, at the end, like, we were going to get separated. Like, once I figured out what that was, I didn't know what that was going to be. I saw her, took my breath away, and I never thought in a million years that could happen. I'm not proud of it. Shanann accused me of it. I denied it. It didn't hurt her. I cheated on her. I hurt her emotionally. I cheated on her.
Here's the challenge that we have. We knew about Nikki, so we didn't need to ask you about her in the polygraph. I don't think this girl did anything to hurt anybody. We leave her out of it. Okay, get back to your wife and your daughters. Okay.
These are your baby girls. And you have not shed one tear.
Don't look into that like I don't love my kids.
Tell me, explain to me. You're crying with your wife that you're leaving her.
Yeah.
But you don't cry that your two little baby girls.
I'm hoping they're still around. I'm hoping they're still somewhere.
Yeah, but you don't have them right now. You're not reading stories to them at night.
I know.
You're not giving them midnight snacks.
I love those girls.
Then show us that. Show us that. Chris, did Shanann do something to them?
No, I don't know.
I'm serious.
I have no clue.
No, you would have known. They didn't leave the house. Did Shanann do something to them, and then did you feel like you had to do something to Shanann? Chicks are crazy.
Eventually, Chris asks if he can speak to his dad. He tells his dad that Shanann smothered the children, so he had to kill Shanann. But the police weren't buying it. I don't even think his dad was buying it. While they questioned Chris, police process evidence in their home. They show Chris a picture of Survey 319, and he finally confesses to killing them. Chris shows police where he put the bodies. 2 days before the murders, Chris went to the Lazy Dog Cafe to eat with the girlfriend Nicole. He got a babysitter. Shanann checked their account and saw the amount Chris spent at the Lazy Dog Cafe and was suspicious. The comments that people made about Shanann and her family are disgusting. Chris did this. Shanann and her 2 children are dead because of Chris. I think it's terribly disrespectful for people to be commenting and saying the things they said, considering what happened. Chris pleaded guilty to killing his pregnant wife and 2 children. He tells police what happened. Apparently, when Shanann came home, they had sex. The next morning, he told her their relationship was over. Then he killed her. He wrapped her body in a sheet and put her in the truck. Then he drove to Survey 319, killed the children, and disposed of their bodies like they were trash. And the last thing he heard his daughter say is, "Daddy, no." After he got rid of the bodies, he called the children's school to tell them they were not being enrolled. He called a realtor to sell their house. And he texted his girlfriend, Nicole. Chris was sentenced to 3 life sentences. This story disgusts me. I don't understand how a parent can kill their own children. It is so disturbing to me that he was able to do that. And he put on this show like he was the victim. Like, oh, where's my wife? I wish I don't know where they are. Please come back. Oh, look, their blankets are here. Oh, here's her wedding ring. Like, boy, bye. That is disgusting. He was acting like he was this distraught. Actually, he didn't really look distraught. I mean, the whole time I watched this documentary, I thought, oh my goodness, he doesn't even look upset. Like, you can tell. I knew from the get-go that he had something to do with this, because he did not look like he was upset at all. If your wife and 2 children, your pregnant wife and 2 children are missing, you're going to be freaking out. Like, where are they? Oh my gosh, where are they? Like, he did not seem bothered at all. And he was acting like, he tried to act like he was upset. And even when he was watching the video of what the neighbor had, he looked so nervous. Like, oh my gosh, I can tell like he was hiding something. I knew from the get-go that he was hiding something. And then when he explained how he killed his children, it broke my heart. I cannot believe that a father or a parent or anybody can kill a child, especially your own children. That's disgusting. And you know what? I'm glad he's where he is, and he's going to have to live the rest of his life hearing that in his head over and over and over again. Daddy, no. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Murder Speaks. If you like it, please share it. Sharing is caring. And if you are a true crime addict like me, check out my store, crystalkiss.com, that's Crystal with a K, for some murder merch. Start killing it with Crystal Kiss murder merch. Free shipping on everything. Thanks so much for listening. Join us again next week for another episode of Murder Speaks. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.